Hi everyone, greetings from National Skills Network, and we are continuing with our conversations on drone that we started recently by inviting few experts from the industry which is into manufacturing and training. And today we have Mr. Amit Takte back with us, and this time he's going to address few questions that people are wondering about, and they are somewhat hesitating to ask, or when they ask, they are not getting the right responses. So we thought, why not catch up with Amit once again and check out about 10 important questions, Amit, that have come to us.
Okay.
And we request you to respond to them. Just to introduce you once again, Amit Takte is VP Training and Technology from DroneAcharya Aerial Innovations Private Limited, which is based out of Pune. And he's going to carry forward this discussion with few important questions. So let's get started, Amit.
Sure. Thanks, Madhuri, for inviting again. I would love to answer all the questions which are there right now.
Great. And for those of you who want to know more about the previous conversation we had with Amit, we'll be sharing the link with the conversation in the description box. You can take a look at that. So first question that I would like to get started with is, Amit, why is it that drone pilot training is called remote pilot training? What is remote about it?
Okay. A remote pilot training organization, RPTO or drone training. It's a very peculiar question, Madhuri. I mean, drones and the real aircrafts, the major difference is the pilot sits in the aircraft, and for drone flying, the pilot is on the ground and the craft is always remotely flying. That's the reason it is called remote pilot training organization or remote pilot aircraft. So the RPTO, or the term which is very confusing many a times for many of them, why it is called remote. I mean, it's remote is you are remotely operating the aircraft or the drone, standing outside the drone, which is on the field and flying the drone. Hence, it is called remotely operated object.
Yeah, it's quite clear now, because we were also wondering why is it RPTO is the short form that's used.
Right.
Amit, I'm referring to the Digital Sky website from DGCA for some of the questions. And I would request our audience also to visit the Digital Sky website from DGCA for authentic information on everything related to drones, so that you get to hear from the authorities there. Now next would be, like when we go to DGCA Digital Sky website, there are many organizations that are mentioned. I think 23 of them. I think they are the ones who are kind of, authorized to give drone training. So
That's
is
right.
that the only number, or do we have more? Can you please tell us more about?
Yeah, at the moment, DGCA has approved 23 organizations to conduct the RPTO, the pilot training activities in India. This number might increase in future, but currently 23 are authorized to do the training on behalf of DGCA and give the certification to the pilot after completion of the exam.
Okay. Now these 23 organizations, training organizations, are located in a few states in India. Now let's assume there are people in other states who want to train their people in drones, because we are talking about drones being applicable to many industries in many locations. So in such a case, now let's say DroneAcharya Aerial Innovations is based out of Pune. Now somebody in Telangana, in a district in Telangana, wants to avail your services or start a training organization. How should they go about it?
So there are two aspects to it. One is availing the services from DroneAcharya. In that case, for the certification purpose, they have to come down to the RPTO, which is formed by us here in Pune. The training will be provided at Pune, because there are designated areas and designated locations which DGCA has approved to provide the flying training. So there are two aspects in the training. One is the theory aspect, simulation and theory aspect, and another one is the practical flying aspect.
Okay.
So the practical flying aspect happens on the field, on the ground, and the ground which is selected by the RPTO has been approved by DGCA to provide this kind of a training. So in that case, they have to come down to the RPTO and get those services, get themselves certified. Okay. Now coming down to the second question of second part of your question is if they want to start their own RPTO. If they want to start their own training organizations, yes, it is very much feasible. There is a D5 form which is available on DGCA's website, which talks about starting up an RPTO. What all details are required by the institution or individual to start an RPTO in India. A detailed information has been given in D5 form. What is the location details, hardware details, what all areas they can fly, the ground specification requirement, then the classroom specification requirement, everything has been clearly mentioned in that document. If somebody wants to start their own organization, they have to go through that document, fill out that document, and apply for RPTO to DGCA.
Okay. Okay, great. I'm sure they will go to the website like you pointed out and look at the forms and the documents that are required to be filled in. So I guess that answers the question about, who can start this training organization and how they can collaborate with you or reach out to you if required for their training requirements. Now, my next question would be, like drone, as we all know, has evolved from defense, has evolved from other services, but it was not for so much of a civilian kind of a service, right? And today we are talking about applying it in many sectors. So does one need to be from an aviation or a defense background to get started with drone pilot training? Or is it going to be, for everybody, like we are saying, even 10th pass students? So how does this actually happen when you give the training to these people?
Okay, so DGCA has approved the age limit of 18 for qualifying to get into the drone pilot training. Okay, so there is no specific requirement of any educational background, any aviation background, any defense background. Okay, anybody who is willing to get into the drone industry and willing to get the drone pilot license can apply for the drone pilot license. The background, just he need to be 10th passed, 18 years of age, and should have an Indian passport. So these are the three requirements. If he suffices, he is eligible to get the drone training from the RPTOs which are mentioned in the digital website site, on the digital website. So Digital Sky website specifies those RPTOs from where you are authorized to get the training and get the licensing done from them. So there's no specific requirement of having any specific background to get into the RPTO training.
Okay, that's nice. So anybody can get trained. And I think the training duration is of 5 days, right? The standard training.
Yeah, exactly. It's 5 to 7 days, depending on, the type of course curriculum they have. That's minimum of 5 days and maximum of 7 days that has been specified by DGCA.
Okay. Recently in one of the conversations, somebody was telling me, hey, look, there are drones available on Amazon, or like you can purchase drones. I mean, I didn't quite understand what he was trying to say, but I've seen YouTubers, who do travel shows and all, they purchase a drone and then they start using it. So from that type of a drone to many specialized drones, how does one get to really purchase as a product, or do they assemble, or how does it really work?
Okay, the question could be from two angles. One is from the drone required for training purposes and drone required for any of the commercial activity purposes, right? I'll take these questions separately. For the training purposes, so you need to have a drone which has got a UIN, unique identification number. Okay, that's basically given by DGCA itself. And you can see that on the Digital Sky platform, there are UIN drones which are available. So you need to have one of those UIN drone to impart training in your RPTO. Okay, that's the first part of it. Second part, if you want to do any commercial activity using drone, any of the commercial activity, be it photography, be it surveys, be it surveillance activity on a commercial basis, in that case as well, you need to have an UIN drone. So which is a unique identification number. That's a registration number given by DGCA to the person who is holding the drone. Okay, so once again, you will see there is a list of UIN drone which are available in Digital Sky website. From there, you can contact the person who is having those drones and purchase it. Or in between, there are windows which are getting opened where you can register your drone and get it UIN linked. Okay. Now, if you are building your own drone, That's
Yeah.
the third case, and which is not a manufactured drone or bought out drone. You are building your own drone. In that case, you have to get it certified by an certifying authority.
Hmm.
Okay, so that is as well available on DJS's website. You have to certify your drone from them, and then only you are eligible to use that for any of the commercial purposes, or even sell off that drone to anybody else who requires that drone for the business purposes.
Okay. Okay, I think that pretty much clarifies, how one can start purchase or acquire and start using the drones. And let's assume that people have started using it and all. And in case of the drone crashing or something going wrong, or if it fails, if there's an emergency, how does one face such a situation?
It's all about the drone training course you are asking about me. The 5 or 7 days of course we are talking about, the pilot training course has got a very substantial portion on how to handle the emergencies and situations just we talked about. What happens if the drone flies away, it crashes? Okay, so there is a set SOP which is given by DGCA. A certified pilot needs to know what all steps he has to follow if something happens in that way, and that is part of the training which we are providing. So the pilot licensing is as well based on how a person perceives these and how a person recalls this during his exams. He has to follow all those SOPs which have been given. So pilot has been taught to manage those situations, and there is a process which he needs to follow in case of an emergency or in case of an fatal accident.
So they can manage on their own.
Yeah.
Is there also like services kind of things available, right? People can also start in specializing in servicing the drone, I guess, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes, that's correct. I mean, that's a separate line which is coming up where the drone servicing is one of the services which people are offering, where such kind of crash drones or the drones which are not serviceable, they are refurbishing it, they are uh, doing the repairs of those drones, and then helping the client to get these air once again.
Okay. Okay, now you are mentioning about training in much detail. So since data analytics is a part of drones, does the training also cover the analytics part, because you capture so much of data, right? So
That's correct.
that's also.
So the pilot training essentially focuses on the piloting activity, but yes, they do. During the training, we do provide them an complete overview of what all industry and what all types of activities which are conducted using drones and drone data. So data processing part, data analytics part, yes, at a higher level, we are teaching them what exactly is done. But there are detailed courses which are required if somebody wants to pursue that as an activity to give or generate the required output for the clients. They need to get in detail understanding of that particular technology. So during the pilot training, we are giving them an overview, complete understanding of what exactly happens in that technology, but not hands-on to the technology, because that's a different course altogether. A GIS or data analytics or uh, uh, data mapping part of the entire drone data captured. So these are two different courses, but yes, there will be an overview which will be given to the pilot, what exactly he needs to be responsible for.
Okay. Okay. Now, can anyone fly a drone after training? After training, I mean. So,
Yes,
yeah.
he is eligible to fly a drone, but once again, he needs to have an UN registered drone, first thing.
Okay.
Okay. He needs to have a, a, a license, sorry, he needs to have an insurance policy for the drone. Okay,
Okay.
and third thing, he needs to fly that in the green zone. So there are different zones which have been specified by government. He's eligible to fly the drones in the green zone without any permission, with a height restriction of 400 feet, and then within visual line of sight. So with these four parameters, he's eligible to fly the drones once he completes or finishes his training.
Yeah, there is something called beyond visual line
No,
of sight, right? There is something like that also. Okay, so I guess this is clarifying about the range, within which you can fly the drone. So anybody can do it, whoever's interested to take up as a career also here. And now, what would be the validity period of the drone pilot license when they get one?
it's valid for 10 years.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So after 10 years, when they want to renew,
they need to renew the license from the RPTO from where they have got the license. There will be a small fee which they need to pay. At the moment, government has decided in that way. There could be an additional brush up examination as well, which might come up, but that is not yet finalized.
Okay, this is so much like our car driving license and all, right?
Exactly.
I guess it works in the same way.
Correct.
Now coming to one of the most important and critical points, there is a lot of interest we see among people when we are talking about using drones for various sectors like agriculture sector or any other sector. Now, in case, let's assume a farmer wants to avail the services, or let's say a traffic police, in a metro city wants to use a drone for surveillance or whatever. How do they approach and how do they get these services?
Okay, so there are various service providing organizations available in India, across India. So one needs to get in touch with them for this kind of services. There are separate agri services specialists which are providing services in the agriculture sector for spraying or for analysis of the crop, soil analysis. Okay, one needs to approach them and get avail their services from the private sector perspective. And for the government sector, like police or any of the forces, they want to use these services for their own activities. Okay, either they have to go through the formal process by which they call out the tenders for this kind of an activity and select the vendor from where they can provide those services, or even these department as well approaches the private organizations which are available in their city or nearby, those who are eligible to provide these kind of services, and they are getting the services from them.
Okay. Yeah, that's clarifying a lot of things which we had around drones. So, Amit, is there any other points that we missed in terms of the top of the mind FAQs kind of thing which people might want to know, or we have covered most of it?
I think you have covered majority of the things, I would say. These are the very typical questions any layman, non-technical person might come up with, and you have covered them in a pretty decent way.
Okay. Thank you, Amit. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise in the area of drones, and we look forward to be connected with you. Thanks again.
Thanks, Madhuri, once again for giving the opportunity. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.